You gotta be ready to change the screen.
Oh.
Okay, welcome and thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna start off with a startling new statistic. Did you know that 2012 was the hottest year on record? There were over 362 all-time highs in the US alone. We can thank global warming for that. I'm sure most of you have heard of global warming. For those of you that haven't, global warming is the air temperature near the Earth's surface heating up over the past century. In addition, global warming affects much more than just the surface temperature of the Earth. It can affect variations in precipitation patterns, variations in wind patterns, variations in ocean currents and ocean levels, as well as glacial retreating and ice sheet melting. For example, according to the National Park Service, the U.S. has become wetter over the 20th century, and the Sahel region of Africa has become drier. In California, global warming and other associated climate changes is decreasing the Sahara snowpack, melting it quicker than it's supposed to, and therefore creating a water shortage in that state. During this presentation, I'll refer to global warming and climate changes as interchangeably. And like most things, there's two sides to every story. The most commonly linked to this topic is whether it is a natural fluctuation or if it's a man-made phenomenon. When comparing the two theories, we find that there's a lot more information about the past 1,000 years as opposed to the past 100,000 years, therefore making it difficult for scientists to accurately conclude whether it's natural or caused by man. On the human cause side, we blame it on the burning of fossil fuels and that affects the greenhouse gases trapping the air inside the atmosphere. We also say that we don't have enough records dating back far enough to really judge what the climate cycles were like and will be like. On the nature side, they argue that the Earth has experienced gradual warming and cooling throughout its existence due to natural causes. And according to the National Aeronautics and Space Association, there have been 7 cycles of this in just the past 650,000 years, much of which has been attributed to variations in orbital change. Furthermore, the natural cycle is supported by records of dramatic rises and falls of temperature over long periods of time. A new development in this theory came up with 2 scientists with those associated with those skeptical of global rising. They raised the possibility of a 1,500-year climate cycle, especially in the North Atlantic region, with hotter years every 1,500 years. The present rise in Earth temperatures could be a direct result of this. As we know, Earth was once covered with ice, and that is a very dramatic change from where we are today. For some reason, that changed, and it could very well change again for no reason. Or we possibly might not have had the record or technology to record these changes in the past, and therefore we don't know. These scientists that believe in the nature cycle believe that global warming is a phenomenon that has happened before and will happen again, and that it is not caused by the emissions of increasing amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. On the other side, we have the human-induced global warming, and according to the National Wildlife Foundation, scientists have concluded that most of the observed warming is likely due to the burning of coal, oil, and gas, which is most closely related to cars, factories, and electricity production. And with the growing population, there's more resources being used, and therefore there's more carbon dioxide going into the air and affecting the greenhouse effect. According to the National Space and Aeronautics Administration, the current warming trend is of specific significance because most of it is likely human-induced and is proceeding at a rate that is unprecedented in the past 1,300 years. Much of this theory is closely related with the greenhouse effect and its effect on global warming. Let's take a look at why so many scientists think that global warming is man-made. Earth's atmosphere contains natural gases, which consist of mostly water vapor, carbon dioxide, and methane, which act to keep the lower levels of the atmosphere warmer that would otherwise be frozen without these gases. Greenhouse gases trap infrared radiation, which the radiant heat energy that the Earth naturally emits to outer space in response to solar heating. On the left, you see here the natural greenhouse effect where the sun into it, and the greenhouse gases trap it, and therefore we're not frozen. And on the right, you can see that there are too many greenhouse gases trapping all of the heat, less of which is being emitted into space. All of these theories aside, the facts show that we are in a warming trend, and whether it is caused by natural effects or by man-made